have to help her. I know what I said, but the baby needs you. Please save her.
The rain hammered down like God's own judgment, turning the cracked driveway into a river of regret as 18-year-old Alex Harper clutched his soaked backpack, the only anchor in a world that had just shattered beneath him. His father's bellow still echoed in his ears. "Get out, you abomination. You're no son of mine," the words slicing deeper than any knife, while his mother's silent tears from the kitchen window burned like acid on his skin. In that moment, heart pounding against ribs that felt too fragile to contain it, Alex turned and walked into the storm, the door slamming behind him not with finality, but with the hollow promise of a lifetime untethered. 5 years later, the sterile hum of fluorescent lights in Chicago's bustling Mercy General Hospital did little to drown out the ghosts that sometimes whispered in the quiet hours. Alex, now 23, moved through the pediatric ward with the grace of someone who'd stitched his own wounds 1,000 times over, meticulous, compassionate, his stethoscope a talisman against the chaos. He'd clawed his way here from nothing, busking on street corners for rent money, crashing on strangers' couches, stealing textbooks from libraries until he earned scholarships that tasted like vindication. Medicine had been his rebellion, his redemption, a way to mend what families like his broke. But tonight, as he charted vitals for a feverish toddler, his phone buzzed like a hornet in his pocket. The unknown number from rural Ohio pulling him back to the mud he'd long since washed away. "Alex, it's Mom." Elena's voice cracked over the line, a fragile thread frayed by years of silence. And in that instant, the ward's beeps faded to white noise. He gripped the receiver, pulse thundering as if the rain had returned, soaking him anew. "Please, baby. I know I don't deserve this, but Tommy, he's dying. Your brother. The doctors say it's leukemia, aggressive, and he's asking for you in his fever dreams. I can't. We can't lose him too, Tommy." The name hit like a freight train. Born just months after Alex fled that godforsaken house, the little brother he'd never held, raised in the shadow of the family's secret Alex embodied. Kicked out for loving a boy in high school, for daring to whisper truths in a town where football jerseys hid more bruises than pride. And now, this plea, a mother's desperation clawing through the chasm he'd built brick by brick. He should have hung up. Should have let the call die like the letters she'd sent in his first year away, all unopened and ashes in a dorm trash bin. But something in her sob, raw and stripped of pretense, snagged on the boy he'd buried, the one who used to sneak her wildflowers from the creek bed, who believed blood meant forever. "I'll come," he said, voice steady despite the tremor in his chest. But not for Dad. For Tommy. The line went dead, and Alex stared at the screen, the weight of 5 years crashing down. What kind of man returns to the pyre that nearly consumed him? The kind who knows love isn't a straight line, but a jagged path through fire. The Greyhound bus rattled across state lines like a coffin on wheels. Illinois cornfields giving way to Ohio's rolling hills. Each mile marker a countdown to confrontation. Alex pressed his forehead against the grimy window, replaying the fragments of memory he'd armored against. Sunday dinners where his father's beer-fueled rants about real men masked the fear in his own eyes. High school lockers slammed shut on stolen kisses with Jamie, the quarterback whose touch had awakened something fierce and terrifying in Alex's soul. Jamie. God, that name still ached. Their summer romance had ended in whispers and goodbyes when Alex came out to his parents. The fallout swift and biblical. Dad's belt, Mom's averted gaze, and Jamie's family whisking him away to a conversion camp that broke him worse than any storm. By dawn, the bus lurched into Milford, Ohio, a speck on the map where pickup trucks outnumbered rainbows and the local diner still served Adam and Eve on a raft without a hint of irony. Alex stepped off, duffel slung over his shoulder, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and diesel. No one waited at the station. Elena's texts had been sparse. Clinical, hospital address, room 312. He hailed a cab. The driver's small talk about Buckeye football grating like sandpaper. As the hospital loomed, a squat brick building on the edge of town, its windows glowing like wary eyes, Alex's resolve frayed. What if Tommy didn't know him? What if this was just another trap? Dad's grudge dressed in a child's fever? The elevator dinged on the third floor. And there she was, Elena, thinner than he remembered. Her once vibrant curls dulled to dishwater gray. Apron traded for a rumpled cardigan that hung like defeat. She froze in the hallway, coffee cup trembling in her hand. Eyes, those same hazel mirrors of his own, widening with a mix of hope and horror. Alex, she breathed, stepping forward as if he might vanish. He wanted to rage, to demand why she'd let Dad's poison seep into their home, why she'd chosen silence over salvation. But the words lodged in his throat, choked by the sight of her, hands calloused from years scrubbing floors at the Mills cafeteria, nails bitten to the quick. He's in there, she whispered, gesturing to the door. Won't eat, won't sleep. Keeps mumbling about a big brother who fixes things. Tommy lay small and pale in the bed, for lines snaking like vines across his 4-year-old frame. Monitors beeping a somber lullaby. Alex's breath caught. The boy was a ghost of what childhood should be. Cheeks hollowed, lashes dark against fever-flushed skin. He looked like Alex at that age, tousled brown hair, a smattering of freckles across his nose. Kneeling beside the bed, Alex brushed a lock from Tommy's forehead, the touch electric with unspoken vows. Hey, kiddo, he murmured, voice cracking. I'm Alex. Your brother's here to fight dragons with you. Tommy's eyes fluttered open, cloudy but curious, and in that gaze, Alex saw the innocence he'd lost, the pure, unscarred belief that family mended, not maimed. Elena hovered in the doorway, wringing her hands. The doctors, they say his type's rare, needs a bone marrow donor. We've tested everyone. Dad's a no match. I'm partial. But you, she swallowed hard, tears carving tracks down her lined face. Your family. Blood. Please, Alex. I know what we did. Why didn't stop? But he's all I have left of us. Us. The word hung heavy, a bridge over the abyss. Alex's mind raced. Compatibility odds were slim, but as a med student turned resident, he knew the science cold. HLA markers, antigens, fate's cruel lottery. Yet beneath the logic swirled something deeper, a romantic ache for the boy he'd been, dreaming of heroes in white coats who saved the day. Hours blurred into consultations. Dr. Harlan, the oncologist, a no-nonsense woman with wire-rimmed glasses and a southern drawl softened by empathy, explained the drill. Swabs, blood draws, the wait for results that could rewrite lives. Alex submitted without protest. The needle's prick of penance. As night fell, Elena shared scraps of the intervening years, Dad's slow unraveling after the mill closed. Shifts at the diner, turning her hands raw, Tommy's birth. A surprise amid the wreckage. His giggles the only light in a house grown cold. I wrote you letters, she confessed over vending machine coffee in the family lounge. Her voice a whisper against the hum of muted TVs. Burn most. Kept one. In my Bible. Prayed you'd forgive. Forgive. The word tasted like ash. Alex thought of the nights in Chicago, hollowed by hookups that chased loneliness but never caught it, faceless men in dimly lit bars, their touches fleeting as his trust. Until Marcus. God, Marcus. The barista with the lopsided grin and tattooed forearms, who'd slipped him a free latte one rainy afternoon 2 years back, eyes lingering with a warmth that felt like home. They'd built something real, lazy Sundays tangled in sheets, whispered dreams of adopting someday. Marcus's steady hand and Alex's during pride parades where rainbows weren't just flags, but lifelines. Families who shows up, Marcus had said once, kissing Alex's knuckles after a nightmare about Ohio. Now, staring at his mother's hunched shoulders, Alex wondered if showing up meant unraveling the life he'd sewn from scraps. Dawn broke with preliminary results, a partial match. Not ideal, but viable. Dr. Harlan's nod was cautious optimism. We'll prep for harvest tomorrow if you greenlight. Alex glanced at Tommy, now dozing with a stuffed bear clutched tight, the same bear Elena had packed in Alex's duffel all those years ago. A silent apology he'd discarded in fury. Do it, he said, the decision settling like a stone in his gut. Surgery loomed, extraction under sedation. Risks minimal but real. A mirror to the emotional surgery he'd avoided for half a decade. Word spread through Milford's veins like gossip at church socials. By noon, Dad appeared, Russ Harper, broader now with beer belly and bitterness etched in jowls. Work boots scuffed from factory overtime. He loomed in the doorway, cap in hand, eyes avoiding Alex's like he was the devil incarnate. Heard you're playing hero, Russ grunted, voice gravel over glass. Don't do it for me. Do it 'cause the boy's clean. Ain't like you. The slur landed like a backhand. Casual cruelty honed by years of denial. Alex's blood boiled, fists clenching at his sides. Tommy's not clean or dirty, he's family. Something you forgot how to be. Russ flinched, a crack in the armor, but turned away muttering about sinners and second chances, leaving the air thick with unspoken wars. That night, as Alex prepped for the procedure, gowned and IV'd in a curtained bay, Elena's hand found his, tentative as a prayer. I should have fought harder, she whispered, thumb tracing his knuckles. When he hit you that night, I froze. Thought love meant enduring. Alex's throat tightened, tears blurring the foredrip. Love doesn't endure hate. Mom. It confronts it. Her sob was a dam breaking. Apologies spilling like the rain of that fateful night. In her embrace, frail and fierce, Alex glimpsed the woman she'd been before fear stole her spine, the one who'd sung him lullabies about brave boys who flew. The harvest dawned under sterile lights. Marcus's voice a lifeline on speakerphone from Chicago. You're saving a life. Babe. That's the gay agenda I signed up for. Laughter bubbled through Alex's nerves. a reminder of the romance that had bloomed in unlikely soil, a barista and a broke med student. Their first day at a picnic in Grant Park where Marcus confessed his own scars from a Bible Belt upbringing. I see you, Alex. All of you. Now, as anesthesia tugged at consciousness, Alex clung to that promise, dreaming of a future where blood ties didn't chain, but freed. Recovery was a haze of morphine and monitors. Tommy's room a sanctuary of beeps and balloons from well-wishers, neighbors who'd once whispered about the Harper queer, now leaving casseroles with notes of grace. The transplant took, cells marching like tiny soldiers into Tommy's veins. A biological truce. Weeks ticked by in tandem, Alex's donor site aching in echo of Tommy's isolation. Elena hovering like a guardian angel atoning. One evening, as fireflies danced outside the window, Tommy, hair sprouting anew, color returning to his cheeks, tugged Alex's sleeve. "You fix me," he lisped, eyes wide as saucers. Like a superhero, Alex scooped him up, the weight perfect in his arms, whispering, "Nah, kid. Heroes have families who fight for them. We're building that now." But reconciliation's path twisted like Ohio backroads. Dad's visits were stilted, grunts over Jell-O cups masking the storm within. One humid afternoon, as Alex pushed Tommy's wheelchair through the hospital garden, roses blooming defiant against the heat, Russ cornered him by the fountain. "Why'd you come back?" he demanded. Voice low thunder. "To rub it in? That you're living your way while we rot." Alex met his gaze, unflinching, the boy who'd cowered long gone. "I came for Tommy. For Mom. Not to rub anything, just to heal what's broken. Including you, if you'll let me." Russ's face crumpled, a sob escaping like a confession. "I was scared. Son. Scared of losing you to something I didn't understand. Thought praying harder would fix it." Alex's heart cracked open, not forgiveness full, but a fissure for light. It doesn't fix. It accepts. And love? That's the real fix. Word of Alex's sacrifice rippled beyond Milford, a quiet revolution in a town slow to change. The local paper ran a feature, "Prodigal Son Returns. Harper heals family rift," photos of Alex and Tommy high-fiving, Elena beaming beside them. Marcus flew in on a red-eye, his arrival a whirlwind of bear hugs and whispered vows in the parking lot, under stars that seemed brighter for the mending. "Proud of you," he murmured, lips brushing Alex's temple. Their kiss, soft and sure, was witnessed by a nurse who smiled knowingly. No judgment, just humanity's quiet nod. As summer waned, Tommy's remission held strong, scans a symphony of hope. Alex extended his stay, bridging gaps with bedtime stories laced with subtle truths, tales of boys who loved boys and saved worlds anyway. Elena, emboldened, enrolled in a support group for parents of LGBTQ kids. Her first meeting a step toward the fighter Alex had always needed. Dad's thaw was glacial, a grunted thanks over burgers at the diner, eyes lingering on Alex's hand intertwined with Marcus's. Not acceptance, but the seed of it, watered by a child's laughter. One crisp October evening, as leaves turned gold over Milford's fields, the family gathered on the porch, the same one where Alex's exile began. Tommy, bundled in a knit sweater, chased fireflies with a net, his squeals a balm. Elena pressed a photo album into Alex's hands. Pages yellowed with time, baby Alex in her arms. Toddler Tommy mirroring his grin. "We missed you," she said simply. Russ cleared his throat, voice rough. Won't say sorry easy. But stay a while, teach an old dog. Alex looked to Marcus, who squeezed his hand, love's steady anchor. Yeah, he replied, voice thick. For the long haul, in the end, it wasn't a fairy tale's bow, but a life's messy knot, ties reforged not in perfection, but persistence. Alex returned to Chicago with Marcus. Tommy's artwork taped to their fridge. Elena's calls a weekly rhythm. The baby she'd raised, the light in their darkness, had saved them all, proving love's reach defies even the deepest wounds. And in quiet moments, Alex would trace the scar from his donation.
Save him, Alex.
A reminder
Please.
that healing begins
I will.
where hurt ends.
I promise
in
I'll
the
do
brave
everything I
act of
can.
coming home.